Hello my fellow book addicts, Megan here, and time for another book review. Today, I'm going to be talking about One Dark Throne by Kendare Blake, and this is the second book in the 3 Dark Crown series. So, things were pretty intense in this book. We picked things up pretty soon after we left off on the last one. The Ascension year has started, so now Catherine, Mirabella, and Arsenault have free reign to try and kill each other. They have a year to try and kill each other off, leaving the final one standing, the queen of their island. After the events at Beltane in the last book, Mirabella has no qualms about going after her sisters now. Catherine, at the end of the last book, returned from the grave, so to speak, and she has changed a lot in this book. And Arsenault is a little more hesitant on going after her sisters, especially after she talked to Mirabella in the last one. So things have changed quite a bit, but no matter how things have changed, it doesn't stop what they need to do. I don't know how to describe it in an unspoilery way other than saying stuff gets real. So much happens, so much changes, and it is intense. I found myself very invested. I found myself really drawn into this story, which I still find kind of funny since I was super hesitant to start this series as a whole. And now I am anxious to pick up the next one to see what happens. For anyone who has any interest in this series but is hesitant like I was, you really should check it out. It's fun, it's awesome, like I said, I found myself super invested and I can't wait to pick up the third book. I actually have it off to the side there, and I'm so curious to see where things head from this point, because I honestly can't even guess as to what's going to happen in the future. So there's not much I can say without going into spoilers, so if you haven't read this book, it is something that I highly recommend. The series so far is something that I highly recommend, and yeah. Without further ado, I'm going to get into a spoiler bit, so if you have not read this far yet, I highly suggest you click away now and come back after you catch up. Alright, where to begin? Catherine terrifies the crap out of me in this book. Like, in the first one, I was kind of iffy on her just because she seems to have no qualms about going after her sisters. And I don't know, from the get-go, she seemed like the most heartless out of the 3 of them. So yeah, this drastic change in her, how she seems more, for lack of better words, unhinged in this one. I mean, I don't blame her for what she's become. She is, like the others, a product of her upbringing. She has been raised expecting to be queen. She, like many others before her, knew what her destiny and task was supposed to be: kill or be killed. And then her little dive into that lovely hole in the ground and her reemergence, how she's been changed by the spirits of the queens of the past. That is what happened, right? I'm totally not misunderstanding anything. So, I can't completely blame her for what she's become. I feel pity for her, but at the same time, she does seem quite unhinged. And out of the 3 sisters, if Catherine were to die, I probably wouldn't be too sad about it. Like, maybe I would have been a little sad, wondering about the girl she could have been if she wasn't thrown into these circumstances, but I don't know, she just isn't my favorite out of the sisters. I do love Mirabella and I do love Arsenault. So if either of them die by the end of the series, I will be very sad for that. And part of me does wonder, is Catherine technically a poisoner and her gift is just super weak because Arsenault is also a poisoner? Or is she actually a naturalist? Because so far she doesn't really show any signs of being a naturalist. Like, us not knowing if Arsenault is a poisoner, that's something that could probably slip under the radar unless she comes to eating poison like she did in the last book. But I would think, being a naturalist, you would have like an affinity with animals at some point, you would notice something. And I haven't at least noticed any signs pointing her to being a naturalist. Maybe there are some in the books and I just haven't caught them so far because I am dumb. But I am curious to see if we get an answer to that. I do like how Mirabella and Arsenault managed to get free of the island, them working together. Though, I think it's pretty safe to assume, I haven't read the synopsis for the third one yet, but I feel it's pretty safe to assume they do go back at some point, because there are 2 more books in the series. I highly doubt we're gonna end with them being free of the island. I have a feeling they are gonna have to go back at some point. And also because Catherine cannot bear the future triplets. Her body is now poison, which I found like a nice little twist. Whether it be from all the poison she's been ingesting, like screwing up with her like anatomy, or the fact that the dead queens of the past are like possessing her. Whether it be either one or some other reason I haven't thought of, she cannot bear the triplets. So I'm curious to see how the poisoners kind of spin that. Any non-poisoner she has sex with is probably gonna die. They probably can't hide the fact that her king is dead for long. And if she cannot have the triplets, if that gets out, the island will be in chaos. So I'm interested to see how things get spun by the poisoners, how things are handled. But yeah, that's just another reason why Mirabella and Arsenault will probably have to come back, because now one of them will likely have to be queen. So curious to see how that plays out. I highly doubt Arsenault and Mirabella will try and kill each other at this point. It feels like they're done with that. They want nothing to do with that. So curious to see if they are faced with that, what they will do. And Jules. I honestly felt bad for Jules in this book. Just her finding out that she's Legion cursed, and now that the whole island, except for maybe the War Gifted at Bastion City, I think it's pronounced, everyone but them, this place that was her home is now everyone like thinks she's an abomination, and just I feel bad for her and worry about the tasks that she will have to complete in the future to stay alive. I'm also curious to see how having someone with the war gift, a very strong war gift, affects the island as a whole. It's been said quite a bit that the war gift isn't as strong as it used to be in a long time. Like, for a long time it's just growing weaker and weaker, fewer people have it. So I wonder what this means now that Jules has the war gift. I look forward to seeing what the change she means represents in the future. Because she's Legion cursed, she is sane, and has the war gift. I also feel bad for her because she lost Joseph. I did not shed a tear, like literally or figuratively, when Joseph died. I feel I made my feelings towards Joseph very, very clear in the last book. I thought he was trash. I'm not a fan of cheaters. Real or fictional, he cheated. He is on my shit list. He is trash to me. So, the loss of him, I wasn't very upset about. I felt bad for Jules because it affected her because she loved him. But, as a reader, I'm not too sad to see him gone. Like I think I mentioned in my last book review for the first book, I might have been able to forgive Joseph if it was just that one time when he was delirious. I might have been able to forgive him for that. But the fact that, I don't think it was like explicitly stated, but it was very, very heavily hinted at, he was intimate with her more than once. More than when he was just delirious. He was fully aware of what he was doing afterwards, after that initial time. He knew what he was doing at those times, and because of that, you're trash. There's no excusing that in my eyes, and I will admit part of me was a little annoyed at Jules for forgiving him so easily, but that's just my 2 cents on that. I felt bad that Jules lost someone she cared about, but for Joseph himself, I wasn't too upset over his loss. Also, for him knowing that he was hurt badly but didn't say anything, or, didn't even say, hey, go on without me. I don't know, the way he handled, I don't know. Joseph, I wasn't a fan of. And yeah, I really don't have much more to say about this book other than I did enjoy it. It was a fun sequel. Fun probably isn't the right word, but it was an enjoyable sequel. And I look forward to reading the third book. I'm probably going to pick it up the second I finish filming this. And yeah, for anyone else who is still watching, what do you think? Was there parts I didn't talk about that you liked? Were there some parts that I didn't talk about that you have a strong opinion on and want to share? Let me know. Let's get a discussion going. So yeah, that is it for this video, and I hope to see you guys next time.